Welcome back to the A4Q Testing Summit. Welcome to our presenter today, Nishan. He will be talking about AI-driven strategies for optimizing software quality. Nishan is an experienced test manager and engineer and a member of the Swiss Testing Board, and I'm sure that he will be providing us with some very insightful topics today. I would like to ask our audience to please leave comments with any questions that they may have in the comment section from whatever platform that you're watching. Nishan, I hand over to you. I hope that you have a successful presentation.
Thanks, Abby. I'm very excited and sort of nervous to be here and present to you maybe the future of how testing will change and how the quality will exceed. So on the topic of AI-driven strategies for optimizing software quality, I want to walk you in some glimpse of AI. So as you see in my agenda, after the introduction, we will have a quick overview on AI, and then we will go in and see how AI will transform the planning, the creating, and also defect detection from the perspective that we have right now to the perspective how it will change. Then I will also address some challenges, and if you stay till the end, you will get some bonuses that not a lot of people know yet, and that will increase and improve your quality starting by after this meeting. So just to make it clear, the whole AI structure is so big and so immense that we cannot cover the Matterhorn and as well the whole ice that is underneath. We will just cover a small glimpse, and it's just a small idea from my experience on how you can use AI to increase your quality. Now, before starting, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nishan. Abby already mentioned it. I'm a member of the ISTQB Swiss Testing Board. I work for Infometis. It's a consulting firm, company in Switzerland that has the mission to reach automation and quality abroad and on site. Now, to reach that, you can do it manually or automated. And I thought, you know what, if I'm having the talk about AI, let me see what ChatGPT, as an example for an AI tool, would say about myself. And it was really funny because it came up with this sentence that I was born in Armenia, which is not quite true. I was born in Lebanon. But I am in the software testing environment. I am a member of the ISTQB local chapter, and I thrive doing my work at companies, reaching new quality levels, new levels of testing in the companies. But it's interesting how accurate ChatGPT already gets the information. Now, in my talk, I will have 3 different tools explained, but because most of you know ChatGPT, I will have this as an example. But don't hook me up on this because there are so many different AI tools, and it depends on which one you want to use. So, AI. When I first heard AI, I thought, okay, we are talking here about not algorithm, how it is, but I was talking of robots taking over the world, enslaving the human beings. And that was my thought. But then I realized, okay, we have 2 different types of AI that we talk about. We have the ANI, the artificial narrow intelligence, which is actually a large language model or a video generator, a text generator, picture, and so on. And there is the AGI, the artificial general intelligence, which I thought was AI. And that scared me because how far are we away from having AGI in our environment, having robots doing what we saw on the movie iRobot? So let me quickly explain to you what actually ANI and AGI is, and what the AIs that we are using right now is actually about. So ANI, or artificial narrow intelligence, has a specific task that it does. So it has a limited functionality that it can do, and it cannot jump over that borders that are defined. It can be for recognizing voice, picture recognition, text generating, predictive text generating. Is that what most people use right now? But you can also use it to generate videos or webinars like this. The other thing is it's trained by a lot of data and from a scientist that teaches those AIs what they do. And it will never have self-awareness, self-consciousness, and it will never be able to think by itself. It's just grabbing the data that it has. Now, artificial general intelligence, on the other hand, is something completely different. A lot of developers say it's not fully realizable, and some even doubt that it will ever be possible. From my opinion, I think it will happen, but not in the next 10 years. We'll see. It's a machine that thinks by himself, that can do cognitive thinkings like a human being, and can also think to the future on how to react, how to learn, and how to improve themselves without any human interaction. Now, the whole challenge on when is AGI really existing or on place is if it continuously passes the Turing test. Now, for those that don't know what the Turing test is, it's actually a test where a human being starts a conversation and doesn't know who is on the other side. Is it a human being or is it an AI? And at the end of the conversation, the person needs to say, was it now an AI talking about, or was it a human being that was interacting with him? Until now, no AI passed those tests. So we're far away, from my opinion, to get the AGI. And we'll see how it will work. Now, what does the media say? A lot of people say, oh, artificial intelligence could lead to extensive experts warning. So they are scared of what it will do. They say, actually, it's not enough to stop or block the AI from developing. You need to completely forbid it. Nobody should use it. It should be abandoned. Some people say ChatGPT has its own doomsday, and it knows exactly when the robots will take over. And another thing, the others say, well, I don't care. It's not on my business. It doesn't harm me. I cannot use it. My job is safe. So why should I be scared? So every single person has their opinion, and the media does a lot of things to emphasize it. From my opinion, I think that the AI system should be designed responsibly and transparent. They should cover the privacy to protect your data. They should be designed to elaborate and support us, and it should be spread apart for everybody to use, not only specific areas or specific companies. And if we see the whole timeline, how the whole technology systems improved. We started in 1960 to 1980 with the mainframe and PCs. Then from 1990 to 2000, we had the client servers, we had the internet, a big boom. What was that? We had the cloud, the mobile phones getting smaller and smaller, then getting bigger and bigger again, getting more and more data on those big data centers. And then from 2010 to 2020, we had the intelligent technologies coming slowly but surely. And how does the future look? Well, I think the picture that I let AI design actually meets my expectation of what will happen. So we will start cooperating with those AI tools to support us. But one thing you need to consider, you need to be prepared to address some specific topics. What? Well, actually, what kind of new skills do you need? Should we organize our teams differently? Do we still need test managers? Do we still need testers or test automators? And how do we start defining new jobs, new positions, new ways of how everything is changing? And how can we bring the people that are right now a little bit of scared if their positions will be doubted if AI takes it over, to come and let's work together with AI to have better quality in our products. And the other thing is what is actually obsolete and needs to be cancelled. Now, many of you know ChatGPT and probably 3-4 other tools, but actually there are a whole bunch of new AI tools, and every single day new tools are being developed and going to the market. The circle that you see right now actually shows the AI tools a couple of months ago. It's now even bigger and even more broad with other functionalities. But they all cover those 5 different areas, from large language models to language processing models. Now, when I thought of AI at the beginning, I said, okay, how did it improve? And why didn't I talk or even interact with AI 2-3 years ago? Well, if we take Midjourney is an AI tool that generates picture out of text. And when we compare Midjourney in February 2022, and I wrote in red house with the prompt that you see right now, I got this picture. Well, there is a house in there, but there are windows all over, there are trees. The house is not really red, everything else is red. But only 2 months later, it already improved itself. So the data that came in got taught, and now we're talking about a red house with a red sky, but it's still not where we are right now. A couple of months later, we now finally made it. It's a red house, but is it what I want? And you see, from month to month, we were speeding up. And in November last year, we had a red house that looks quite well. Well, let me show you how in February this year, the red house looked like. And if you see this picture, it looks like somebody took this picture in front of a red house. And that's quite impressive how AI is improving, and it's really taking speed. So hop on and let's go with AI to the future. But what if you don't need to plan your testing anymore from scratch every single time? What if you can get test cases designed with specific risk coverage that covers more risk with less test cases? Well, If you think that's not possible, it actually is. There are a lot of AI tools that do this currently. Let's see how it works. Well, we have the requirements and we want to, for example, to refine the requirements, or we want to have the test management getting prepared. We want to start designing and test cases. Well, how do we do it? We take the requirements in the way that we have it right now, and we hand it over to the AI. Now, what you see here is actually the memory of ChatGPT, how it looks right now. There are still some gaps, but it can do a lot of things already. So, for example, if you take now those requirements, put it into a ChatGPT, and let ChatGPT give you the requirement refinement, give you a test plan, or the specific test cases based on the requirements to cover the risk that you want. Also the execution. Now you can take those information that ChatGPT created, hand it back to him and say, okay, and now create me an execution list with the data that you recreated now, and I want it risk-based. But don't forget, the data protection is something very important. And what about preventing defects before that even happens? Well, you can do the same thing. You can take your code, give it to the AI, and let the AI review it and give you feedback. Now, if we look at reviewing, before, the thing was that if I hand my documents, no matter if it's requirements, test cases, or code, to my colleagues, it's a subjective feedback. You not always get the same errors found out, and it varies depending on whom I'm giving it to. I don't have time to review, and the other thing is I need to test and review. That's a lot of time. So there is one tweet that I really like. I give 10 lines of code and I find 10 issues. I give 500 lines of code and looks everything fine. But how would it look if we give it to AI? Well, the feedback is based on facts. It suggests me already some fixings to get it corrected. Time doesn't matter anymore. And I can focus myself to reviewing the parts that are not covered yet, like business logics that the AI cannot do. I can address securities, improve code, categorize it, and let it fixed quickly. Well, the benefit of AI is much more, because you can get the right scope that you want. You can get the right test cases, learn from production, suggest some new optimizations, and so on and so on. There are so many ways to improve. The most important thing is if you put input into the AI, just make sure what kind of input are you giving in. Is it data that is protected, that you should not give an AI in the cloud? Or is it common information? And also the output. Well, what is the output? Can I use it as my own knowledge? ChatGPT created it. Is it mine or is it from the community? Those are things that you need to consider if you start developing AI into your strategies. Now, let me give you some tips and solutions on how this would look like. First of all, you need to consider privacy. Now that we have the new data protection in line, you need to consider what kind of information are you giving the AI, and is it possible or not? What about the output? How accurate is the output that the AI is generating? And how about the knowledge that is being created? Who is the owner? And is a human being interacted? My suggestion is never take the AI output and place it somewhere without a human being looking at it and challenging what it created. Well, You made it so far. Let me give you a 5-step AI transformation playbook that you can use right after this session. Step 1, you need to define a goal, a challenge that you're facing right now. For example, I have a lot of customers that are not satisfied. My client support is lacking. The challenge, we have so many manual processes that we're not able to address every single question from the customers. Well, that's step 1. You define your goal and your challenges. Now we move to step 2. We assess our data capability. Do we have enough information to know what we actually lack of? So we have the customer purchase history. We know how many products we have. We know the customer feedback, but we don't have real-time customer sentiment. So that's the gap that we have. Now that you address that, identify the AI use case that you want to have. So what is it? Well, it could be using a large language model to support the support, to take the basic questions and continue on if the AI is not capable of. Now I know that a lot of people in this line have already experienced some of those AI supports. So maybe if you have those challenges, you go to step 4 by finding the right tool. And if you don't have the right tool, how about developing the solution that you need? So look for vendors that can develop it, or take the data or the AIs that already exist. And now that you have the AI tool, you start implementing, but don't stop at the implementation. You need to consistently monitor if the AI tool is reaching the goal that they actually are planned for. And if not, start reworking it, fixing it, get a next batch, a new run to see how it's running. Now, all AIs, if you're using large language models, are nothing if you don't know how to prompt. Probably you see a lot in the media as well, prompt engineering. You need to know how to prompt engineer, and that's true. Why? Because a good prompt is like a magic spell that unlocks the full potential of the LLM. Now with ChatGPT, let me give you some examples how you could improve your prompts by not asking, create me a test plan, and you get a test plan for creating a menu plan or something else. There are actually some structures that you need to follow. You need to specify the scenario. You need to assign the AI, for example, ChatGPT, a specific role. For example, you are a test manager. You need to provide models with additional information. You are a test manager, and in your company, you're using the ISTQB international standard. Now you specify exactly what you want. I want you to create, and then what you want, and be as clear as possible what you want. And at the end, ask ChatGPT, for example, do you understand what I want from you? And if it says yes, ask him, well, what did I ask you to do? And it will give it. And if it's not enough, then please rework the prompts, because the first prompt is not always the best one. Now, there is one secret that I want to give you, because, for example, ChatGPT is limited for knowledge until 2021. But there is a small hack that you can do that ChatGPT is unlocking the knowledge right now. And how do you do it? By 3 steps. First, if you use ChatGPT, Claude, Google bars, then take those informations from all 3 areas and consolidate them, because it gives you more input than only one AI. Then, if you use ChatGPT, subscribe to the plus button, to the plus plan, and install the plugin Web Pilot. And at the end of your prompt, put in this sentence: browse the web to find the latest information, and you will be surprised. And if you want to know more about how it got those information, well, enter this prompt that I'm giving you right now. Take a picture of it, try it out, and you will be surprised how your output would be much better than probably currently happening. Well, I like to finalize and conclude with a sentence that Pete Diamandis mentioned once, and I like it, and it has a glimpse of truth in it. There will be 2 kinds of companies at the end of this decade. Those that are fully utilizing AI and those that are out of business. I like this picture that actually Midjourney created by a small robot or a small AI being part of your team, supporting you and helping out with the challenges that you have to increase it. It doesn't matter if it's test automation that you want to stabilize because the ideas or the elements are changing the whole time, or the requirements are changing and you don't have time to rework the test cases. Think of how AI can improve you, and then apply those 5 secrets that I gave you to improve it in your business. Thank you very much. And just as a final information, get connected with me, because in the next couple of months, I will give 1, 2, 3 tips at a time to improve your quality on using AI and to help you improve what you're doing right now. So stay in contact, and maybe in about a half a year, I will have a huge ebook with all those tips and tricks, and I will hand it only to those people who are connected to me. Thank you very much for your time. Do we have questions?
First off, Nishan, before we start with the Q&A session, I'd just like to thank you for such an insightful presentation about AI and how to best take the advantage of using AI in your day-to-day career. I was personally taken aback with the progress of the Red House, and I think many of our viewers would have found that just as interesting as I did. So thank you very much for that. Moving on to our Q&A session, I believe we have a few questions ready for you. First off, can AI-driven strategies help in optimizing the performance and load testing processes?
Yes, absolutely. Because when we want to test load and performance, we need data. Now, AI can help you gather those data from the production, gathering it together to help you specifically address the load and performance test that you want to do to make sure that what you're testing right now is exactly the place that it needs to be tested, to see if everything is capable of the load and performance that you're expecting from your application.
Perfect.
I hope that answers the question.
It definitely does. We have another question for you. How can AI help in identifying and prioritizing the most critical areas or modules of a software for testing?
Well, the same here. You need to take the information that you have, put it into the AI, and let the AI learn from the knowledge that you have from your past. So all the defects that you have, all the issues that you have in production, and also the quality of the requirements that you're getting, and the code that is being created, put it into the AI and let AI do the work for you. Now, don't be foolish and say, okay, now this is still what the AI gave me, and I want now to reuse it as it is. No, always have a human being challenging what the AI gave you, because sometimes it's not what you were expecting.
Definitely, and I can agree. Using ChatGPT, we've all encountered some similar problems to that. Our next question: how can we ensure the accuracy and reliability of AI algorithms in identifying and fixing bugs and other software issues?
Well, that's a real good question. Well, the thing is, as you mentioned, Abby, if you ask ChatGPT something, sometimes it gives you nonsense question answers. Just as an example, type in 1,000 times an A, hit the enter button on ChatGPT, and see what ChatGPT will give you as an answer. And then if it gives you the answer, ask him, what did I ask you in advance? And see, sometimes you need to challenge it. And the chance that it gives you a false positive answer is quite common. So that's why use different AI tools. So not only ChatGPT, but use also Claude or Google Bard to combine the knowledge from all three to your output. And then again, challenge it as a human being.
I think human review is always necessary when dealing with AI. We have another question here for you. What are the risks associated with relying too heavily on AI for software quality assurance, and how can these risks be mitigated?
Well, that's a good question. The risk is, as I mentioned before, the false positive, that it gives you information that is actually not really true because maybe your prompt wasn't detailed enough, or you didn't give enough information that it could gather it out. So that's why if you get an answer, challenge it, rephrase it, and see if it gets the same answer again. And as mentioned, use different AI tools, because different AI tools have different sources of knowledge that they can collect. And by that, your output will be more higher qualities, but you still need to challenge it what it is. So don't take the output and just get into it, because it's not enough.
So, as individuals using AI and inputting data into these AIs, our next question is quite interesting. How can we ensure that data is protected if you're uploading it to platforms like ChatGPT?
That's a real good question, because as many of you know, whatever I input in ChatGPT is in the cloud and can be used for relearning, and it's not data protected anymore. So in this case, like I mentioned in my presentation, data protection is key. And if you like ChatGPT, let me give you a small secret, because ChatGPT can also run on your device with no internet and no connection to the cloud. You can download ChatGPT for all.ai on your device, install it, and now you have all the information that you're putting into this tool on your device and nowhere else. If you delete the application, it's gone. The only challenge there is because it uses a lot of data. There will come a point where it will have a data overload. So then you need to clear up the chat and start a new one to not have a lack of memory. But this will help to overcome the challenge of giving information to ChatGPT.
Nishan, thank you so much for your very valuable presentation. I believe we have one more question. Can AI give you the exact steps to reproduce bugs as it's been found?
Yes, absolutely. If you give him the data that you gathered from the bug, the AI can learn and reproduce it. And not only reproduce it, it will even give you suggestions on how to fix it if you hand him over the code that actually caused the issue. So starting at the beginning with the requirements, handing it to the code, getting it reviewed, fixed, and relearned again is the key of AI. Learning how your environment, how your company is working right now, and how it can improve its knowledge by gathering information from previous errors, from previous bugs, to improve the issues in future.
Wonderful. Nishan, thank you so much for your valuable presentation. I think our entire audience can take many notes from this. I would just like to remind our audience that they can tune in to the rest of our sessions throughout the day, and also that we have our Best Speaker Award this year. And to vote for Nishan, you can visit our website and click on his name on our program, and you're able to rate his presentation between 1 and 5 stars. We encourage our audience to do so, as we will be announcing our best speaker and best presentation in some time. Thank you again, Nishan, for your very valuable presentation, and we hope to see you at our next conference.
Thank you for the invitation.